everyone, Reaper here again with another video. This time I would like to do a little conversation discussion on what I would like to see from a new X-Men movie once it's brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I just want to say this is not predictions or anything like that. You know, I know there's a lot of predictions channels and all that stuff. But whenever the deal is done, the Fox deal is done, I heard June was going to be when the deal is done and so forth. Well, whenever. It's no big deal. But when that happens, and when the X-Men movie is being made, these are just some things that I would like to see in the X-Men movie that I think would be cool as a fan who got into superhero comic books because of the X-Men so many years ago. So anyway, I would like, some of the things that I would like in the movie is, and this was sort of done in the first X-Men movie from 2000, that the X-Men have been around for a while. Okay, this is not an origin story on how the X-Men got together or anything like that. It's not like X-Men First Class. I want to avoid stuff like that completely when it comes to the founding of the original X-Men team. I would like it to be known that the X-Men have been around for a while, and probably all the X-Men, the current X-Men guy, people like Cyclops, I would like them to stick as closely as possible to the original team. Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Beast, Angel, and even throw in the other characters along the way like Havoc and Polaris, who were late members of the team, and so forth. But I would like that history known, either through maybe a couple flashbacks here and there throughout the movie, or just through discussion that, yes, there has been a team for many years. They're probably now in their early 30s. You know, I don't want them to be like early 20s or anything like that. I don't want them to be super old, like, you know, the Ben Affleck Batman compared to the Superman he's working with. But they're probably in their 30s, still, you know, in their prime, but have been around for a while. Have taken on a bunch of missions, and throughout the movie you might hear a couple little things here and there that the original team, when they fought the Vanisher, or when they fought Mesmero, or when the Mimic joined them, like little things that you don't necessarily have to say. We don't have to make a movie with the Vanisher in it, but it's just cool, like a little homage to what the original team, some of the characters that the original team encountered and fought, or who might have been on the team briefly over the years. But I would also like it to be known that Magneto helped found the X-Men. Now, I know that's a little different, I think, in the comic. I don't know if they retconned it, that Magneto helped form the X-Men in present-day comics. I don't know. But a little different, but we do not need to see Magneto. I don't want to see Magneto in this movie. I don't want to see him in the follow-up movie either. But I still think he should be discussed, or maybe be seen in flashback. I don't want the whole plot to be driven around what Magneto's doing, or what he's not doing, or whatever. I just want him to, you know, be part of the history, but not, I don't want a movie to start off with him right from the get-go. I just want this franchise to breathe a little and bring in some characters that maybe we haven't seen, or some characters that have been seen but haven't been used properly. That's the direction I would like to see the new X-Men film series to go. So with that being said, of course, the history with Magneto, he helped found the team, but then they had differences, and he formed his own team, and the original X-Men fought his team over and over again, of course, the Brotherhood and all that stuff. And once again, try to keep it somewhat close to the source material. Of course, there could be liberties, and there will be liberties in this, and that's fine too. But trying to stick a little bit with the source material, I think, would be a good spot for them. But I wouldn't mind seeing, the actual plot of the first film surrounding some of the events from Giant Size X-Men to X-Men 95. I think that would probably be a really good spot. The intro of a new team trying to locate the old team. The clash of personalities, the diversity of the characters and all that stuff. And then when they find the new team, they come across like some quarrels with them, and there's quarrels within the new team. Like maybe Angel is having issues with, or had issues with Cyclops for a long time, and so forth. Trying to build some sort of characterizations for each of these characters right from the get-go, where maybe these could go into future films. Like, for instance, with Angel, if it's made known that Angel's, kind of by the time he was captured, if we're following the Giant Size movie, he's sort of getting annoyed with the X-Men, and then he gets injured during the whole process of the rescue, and that could lead into him becoming Archangel for another movie, where maybe Apocalypse can be brought back in correctly. Okay, just opening up all these different ideas, I think, is a really good thing. But I think that's a pretty good place to start. I would also like to see that, that by the end of the movie, by the conclusion of the movie, that it's known that the original X-Men, most of them are not going to be around as much anymore, sort of like the Giant Size, where maybe Cyclops will be around and maybe one or two others will be around. But the others are going to go about their own way, which may lead into an X-Factor team in a future movie. Not an X-Factor movie, but maybe an X-Factor team. Okay? Just a lot of different possibilities with this that I think are pretty good. But one thing I would like to see somehow is maybe perhaps even in a post-credit scene, when they try to discuss the plot. Well, how did the X-Men get to this island and all that stuff? How did they get there? And they're trying to figure out who summoned them there. And there's a confusion on who summoned them there. They were thinking that maybe it was Magneto or something like that, and it wasn't. I would like it to be where they are drawing out, perhaps building up Mr. Sinister as this shadowy character that's controlling things that they're not even aware of yet, like he is in the comic. But I would like to see new villains like him. A sequel, I would love to see the Shadow King and so forth. I would like to see Sauron thrown in there, because he was in some of those early Claremont issues. You probably can't call him Sauron because of Lord of the Rings rights and so forth, but you can call him Karl Lykos and all that stuff. Trying to bring in some of these other characters. The way I think the new Spider-Man, the Homecoming, did. You had the main bad guy, which was the Vulture, and he had his henchmen like the Shocker and the Tinkerer. They played minor parts in the film, but it was good. There were a lot of villains in that movie, but the way they used them was really well done. And I would like to see something similar, that model used in an X-Men movie. You have characters like maybe Sauron that shows up, although not the main bad guy and not so much with him, but he's sort of like a character that's more like a henchman and so forth. You could give little drips and drabs of his origin and make it satisfying for the fans and for the story. You don't have to go too deep into it or ignore it completely. But I think that all this stuff would work really well under Kevin Feige, because he's done such a good job with, I think, last 10 years. I mean, I didn't like every single movie. I didn't like Iron Man 2. I didn't like Iron Man 3, but that's nothing in the scheme of things when it comes to all the great that has come out of this series, Marvel Cinematic Universe series over the years. So that's where I would like to see the X-Men go. Maybe somewhere down the line, like I said earlier, about maybe having X-Factor form, and maybe Wolverine trying to escape Alpha Flight coming after him, and all that stuff. From that era, that I think would be really, really good. Really interesting, and would be fun to see as a fan, especially as a fan that grew up on the X-Men cartoon and seeing how closely they followed some stories on that show, and the show was great. Sometimes when you follow the source material, when you take a few liberties here and there, you still got a great film or a great TV show. Look at Batman the Animated Series. A lot of that they took from the source material, and it worked out really well. I mean, everybody seems to like the Batman the Animated Series and the X-Men Animated Series. So, but those are just some of my thoughts on what I would like to see when it comes to, a new X-Men film series. I think it'd be really cool. I'm stumped right now. I'm thinking about what I would like to see when it comes to a Fantastic Four film series. So I'll talk about that in another video when my thoughts clear up on it and I have more to say on it. But thank you all for watching, and I will talk with you and see you soon.